Welcome back, episode 14. We got Brandon and KB and this girl right here, my girlfriend, Faith. KB and Faith are going to get into The Bachelorettes, their thoughts on it. I really don't watch the show. I couldn't give two shits about it. It's not that good of a show. Brandon and I aren't really going to be talking much because we don't know much about it. KB, real ladies man, likes to watch The Bachelorette. Loves it.
Watching The Bachelorette is a perfectly acceptable thing to do. If you're not gonna watch, if you're a guy that's like, I'm not gonna watch The Bachelorette because it's not interesting, you're wrong. It's it's super interesting.
There's all the drama and it literally is
a ton of drama.
So exciting.
It's like Jersey Shore, but attractive people, and a little less.
Kyle likes choosing what guy he'd date if it was him on the show.
Would you ever go on The Bachelor?
Would I?
If you were single?
I mean, yeah, because you get famous. Yeah, you get famous, like crazy famous. Yeah. I now follow Bennett because who doesn't love a guy that's worth just a ton of money? Killer jawline. I mean, what's not to love about him? But so we can get into talking about it. Faith, what was your reaction when Ben went home?
Ben was one of my favorites, so I was sad about it. But I think that how he went was bad because he didn't have balls to say I love you, and I get it. It is really quick and everything like that, and obviously I don't know what it's like being on the show, but I think that to stay on the show, as sad as it is, you do have to be that invested in that. Like everyone else has confessed their feelings to Tayshia except him, so I mean if I was her, it'd be the same way, sending him home.
Yes, Nurse.
Question for you. Would you be on a show? Would you be like, I love you after going on a single date and then
it's not a single date.
Like an hour?
Okay, but you went you also decided to go on the show. You have to do it. That's how the show works. And
plus I learned there's no phones.
Yeah.
So it's
they're disconnected from the world.
Yeah. So I guess on those kind of shows, one day is a week of dating, a week is a month. And so a few months is you have all of an entire relationship just compacted down. So I get why
you don't know what's happening off when the show's not airing. You don't know what's happening at the night. Someone could be going over there and they're just not recording it, or they're hanging out or things like that. Those you're not seeing, so you don't know really how much time they really have spent together. I'm
really curious if is Tayshia hooking up with some of these guys just when the cameras aren't real? I mean, I think why would you not take advantage of that? There's a bunch of good-looking dudes in a house, you know.
I mean, I'm always curious to know how when at this point, obviously fantasy suites that usually happens, but beforehand, are they hooking up with past guys, even top 10? Because that would be obviously
that'd be
imagine having to find out about that when you're in the final four, one of the guys finding out about it.
Or right after and be like, yeah, just to let you know, I was hooking up with all of them.
Yeah. Exactly.
20 of them.
What did you think about Ben leaving?
I loved Ben. It did bother me that his title is Army Veteran, which that's really cool, but also it sounds like unemployed. So that did throw me for a loop.
Mm-hmm.
But
he doesn't ever talk about it, so I'm always curious to see if maybe that is a bad past or what, but he never.
Yes, I don't know. I would like him to talk about it a little bit. I liked Bennett just because he had a great jawline and he's rich. And I mean, what is you looking for, a man, especially on The Bachelorette?
I could not stand him. He needed to leave the second he got on the show.
Come on, he's a cool guy. Yeah. I noticed that none of them wear socks with suits, and they're all really high up. So.
Well, he claimed he went to Harvard and is some smart guy, and he literally on that one date that they had to write out words, he literally butchered every single word that there was.
Yeah, that's tough. I'm sure he got into Harvard.
Did he actually go to Harvard?
No, I mean he did go to Harvard, but his family is worth millions of dollars. They have 5 houses, and
he just seemed to be he thought he was above everyone else.
Well, he is.
Right. See, I like that.
Harvard.
Okay, but you were 38 years old.
I don't know why he's on the show. He could be definitely getting some food tanks.
He definitely.
The old Bachelorette was Claire, and then she
was the worst.
Yeah, she ended things real quick, and it was ridiculous.
Did you like her at all?
What did you say?
Did you like her at all? I heard on Twitter when I first, because this is the first season I've watched, and everybody hated her. Is that a?
Yeah, I mean, I watched her season with Juan Pablo. I mean, I've watched the last probably.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I've watched probably 10 plus seasons.
Unbelievable.
I love the show, so I have watched it all. So I watched her with Juan Pablo, and like, I mean, I personally didn't think Juan Pablo like did a whole lot. I mean, he wasn't a good guy, but like she kind of like came at him when he didn't propose. So I wasn't a huge fan of her.
Some guy didn't propose at the end of it.
Yeah, well, he proposed to someone else, so she was in the final 2.
Oh, okay.
So like then she was upset, and like I don't remember everything that was said, but he said some things, and then like she was like, I would never want you to be the father to my children, and like all
low
that.
blow.
Just like how she said the same thing to what's his name?
That's low.
Did you like when everybody came back?
The mental, I love.
Yeah, I thought that was really good.
But it was weird not having like an audience and not having everyone else there.
Yeah, I was really hoping the boy band manager Kenny, I thought he was gonna do really good. He looked cool. He had some sick tattoos.
He was a little weird, but he was okay.
Yeah.
What do you think the feelings are like? You get to the final 2, obviously you think you're the one, like that you're gonna get chosen, and like the girl's basically like, you know what, fuck you, I actually chose the other guy. Like what how do you feel?
Some of them, like I can't tell because they're all like really good actors, but so like I don't know who's there to like actually get married and who's there to get like an Instagram following. Because I know it's a big thing on The Bachelor. A bunch of girls just go and get a ton of Instagram followers and like you become famous. I mean, The Bachelorette too, like some of the guys you can tell are only there because they want to like get famous.
They like make no connections at all. So you can clearly tell.
Right. Yeah.
You remember when we were watching Love Island? That was a key point they made. Is this guy just here for his Instagram, or is he here for love?
Right. Yeah. And all those people are famous now.
That are like that.
Yeah.
No, I haven't watched Love Island.
Have you guys watched the Netflix show?
Love Island was good. Only Australia though, because I like Australian people.
There's Are You the One, which I really like that show, and then the Hot or Not.
You ever seen the Hot or Not?
No.
No, hold on.
Is it good?
Let me look this up. It's a Netflix show. It's like, so they're all like big sex, like they love just hooking up with people, and they bring them to an island to find love, and they give them like a $75,000. You split it if you guys don't have sex. Every time they break the rules, like kissing and stuff.
They like lose money every time they like kiss or do anything.
Yeah, like kissing's like minus $5,000. Like having sex is minus like $20,000.
That's a cool show.
I have to imagine that I wouldn't leave a lot of money.
All right, we'll wrap it back. We'll wrap up the Bachelor Talk. Faith, who's gonna win? I want to hear. So like, there's the fantasy suite night, and then there's the proposal, right?
Too hot to handle.
Too hot to handle. Okay. Who's gonna win?
I really don't like really any of them. I think personally, I think that she's gonna end up with Zach, and then they're gonna break up.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because he has obviously he's got like a big past with everything. I don't think Ivan will be ready to propose. I don't think Brendan will be ready to propose. And who's the other one? Oh,
that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Zach, but I don't think it's gonna last. I don't think anyone left is gonna last. I think her best option would have been.
Who do you think would be the best on the show? Brannigan, KB, or me? Like, if you had to choose one of us to go on the show, like, who would you?
Smurs. It is no doubt Smurs.
My girlfriend, like you're just saying, like, I would. Either of us were on the show. Who would you cheer for?
I think you would manipulate your way.
Smurs, you would be the best person at this show.
Yeah, I would remove myself from the running. I wouldn't.
Smurs, like the people on this show are like, if you don't go out of your way, like you just get eliminated that day.
Yeah.
Like if you just
go out of your way for like the stupid.
Yeah. Like you can't sit. It's not like you can't be the guy that's like sitting at a bar and is like, I'm just gonna like sit here all night and then just kind of like then go talk to somebody. No, but like you can't do that. Like that they cut like the first round of like cuts is like a quarter of the people just like out.
Like they come up with like 30 people and like 8 people go home the first night. It's literally like someone who she like didn't talk to at all.
I would.
Yeah. Yeah. Your personality is way too intoxicating. Don't pretend like we're not thinking it.
I'd probably overthink my way into getting upset about something, and I'd probably just eliminate myself. I'd be like, I'm over this.
sit around and dating the same people. No, thank
yeah.
you.
Probably go to the fantasy suite and then go home.
Like I would lose interest. I would lose interest battling for one girl when I found out there was 10 other people in the running.
The Bachelorette is very liberal with the kisses she dishes out, which I don't know why you wouldn't. A bunch of good-looking guys around you, but
say you win, but did you really win? I'm like, okay. And now if I have to rewatch the season and watch all this, like that would the girl I'm with now, like come on.
Other guys.
I don't think I would be for me.
All right, Faith, you want to talk about this next week too?
Yeah,
if
sure.
you guys should watch too, so then way you can contribute to the conversation. I would watch it.
You literally just have to watch the 2 episodes. It's not even like.
Yeah, it's easy.
Yeah. Like you don't have to know anything about the past thing. You can just contribute your knowledge on those 2 episodes.
You'll be working after this.
Don't be the guy that's like, it's either girly or like you're not interested, because if you honestly sit down and watch it, it is fantastic.
I mean, you've watched seasons before and you've liked it.
It is amazing.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go out of my way to watch it. I'd rather
you should start recording it and then watching. It's on like Mondays and Tuesdays. Like
yeah, he has it recorded on YouTube TV because we use the same account, so he can watch it.
You can watch it.
You can do it. You can take 4 hours out of your time.
4 hours out of my week, I can be doing anything else. Like anything else.
It's exciting.
No. It's worth it. It's worth it. I would do it. Because then next week we'll talk about it. So next week we're all gonna we'll think about it and we'll talk about the reaction on whoever won. Don't read about it. Watch it. It's easy. All right. Should we move on to talking about Brannigan in Florida?
Yeah.
I'm out of here.
Why is that the next subject?
All right, let's get into it. Brannigan,
okay,
tough loss. Guy throws his shoe, gets a 15-yard penalty, and you lose coverage.
That was exciting.
Everybody was upset after that, and they saying that's why we lost, but it's not why we lost. We lost because we gave 37 points to a 3-win LSU team.
That's real coach speak though, because you specifically lost because some guy threw a shoe like 15 yards when he got excited. That was a very blatant.
Did you hear the ref? He made a point to say throwing a shoe 20 yards downfield, like he measured it.
You're like the coach that comes back.
Dude, that okay, but you know what? That's set up like a 57-yarder in the fog. And the kid
guess what?
And he nailed it. Yeah, but that wouldn't have been. Yeah.
Big dick energy right there. He nailed it.
Brannigan, that is like being the coach that comes into the locker room after the game. After like you miss 2 free throws to lose the game, and the other team goes down and like scores a layup and wins by 1, and the coach comes in, he's like, that's not the reason we won the game or lost the game. And it's like, I mean, that was a large factor in losing the game right there. You could have really changed the game. That is what you sound like right now. Oh, that was a
senior too.
There's this 3rd and 1 in the second quarter that we could have gotten, which would have changed the whole game. Like you could have just not chucked a shoe 15 yards and still won.
Sure, yeah. Definitely was a turning point.
And then if you would have beat Bama, you probably would have made
it. I would like to say that I'm not blaming our kicker, but I'm really disappointed in that final miss.
It's a 54-yarder in the fall. You already said
almost
that.
Automatic for him. That was the LSU kicker kicked a 57-yarder. Our guy was like a 45-yarder.
No, I thought it was a 54.
It was to end the game. I don't think it was that far.
Florida ruined this championship week. Because you guys, any possibility of like a fun championship week, you just ruined it.
Because I don't know. I think if Clemson blows out Notre Dame,
if we win, we're going to be in.
No way.
I mean, come on. You guys are 17.5 point underdogs.
If you guys win, and Notre Dame beats Clemson, I think Texas A&M gets in ahead of you.
No, Bama's going to get it in ahead of Texas A&M.
It would be, but if Clemson loses Notre Dame, Clemson would have 2 losses. I think.
Yeah, but they're going to put him in over. They were talking about getting another SEC team in there. Ohio State's not going to lose to Northwestern.
Loses again, they're probably going to be out. Ohio State, I can see them being left out only because of their amount of games played.
That would be a terrible choice by the committee. I really hope. Because this is what the SEC gets every year, so I'd love to see them just get fucked in the ass by this. To say, best 4 teams, Clemson is in over Texas A&M, and then say, oh, eye test.
Yeah, no, I
That's all
agree
you need.
that they are a better team. They'd probably be if it came down to a 2-loss Clemson versus like 2-loss Florida or 1-loss A&M, it would be Clemson for sure. And
I
that's
hope
probably
that
the
happens for every single year. I had to hear about a 3-loss SEC team. If they beat Alabama in
never
the
happened.
championship,
There's never been a
they're in.
There's never been a 3-loss SEC team in the hunt.
All right. So
Auburn was a few years ago.
if
Yeah, they
Clemson,
Yeah, and then
if
lost.
Clemson
they didn't make it.
blows out Notre Dame, like absolutely blows them out, like say by 30 points, does Notre Dame get into the playoffs?
Yeah, they're one loss. They're a 1-loss team, and then they're 500 against. Like that's the worst case scenario because
Yeah, but that'll
guarantees
raise
they're both in.
But then
A&M's
A&M's
comes back.
A&M's a 1-loss team, and their only 1 loss is to Bama in Tuscaloosa.
They're not going to be a champion though.
And they were obliterated though.
And neither would Notre Dame.
I don't know. I just don't see it.
And Notre Dame beat Clemson in South Bend.
That makes sense. That makes sense. But you're not going to take the number 2 team, and then so like you're not going to take the number 2 team who already beat Clemson and then put Clemson in because like they split. So if they split, that's going to be the easiest road to get them. They're both going to get in. Ohio State's going to get in, and then Alabama's going to get in. That's like if you want any fun for like something to watch or to like talk about, it's if Clemson loses again, and then you can talk about Texas A&M and Florida beats Alabama. That would be ultimate chaos. That's what you have to root for because Wisconsin's out, so who cares?
Yeah, I would.
Because a Pac-12 team's not getting in. Ohio State's guaranteed to get in because they're not going to lose to Northwestern.
Whoa. You said a Pac-12 team's not getting in, right?
They're not going to get in.
The USC would be 6-0.
Not a chance.
Not a chance.
I'm saying not a chance. Like
they haven't gotten.
What are they ranked right now?
It's not better than 6-0 Ohio State.
Well, because like the college football playoff, it already has the top 6 teams. So if they're not in the top 6, they're not getting in.
What about Iowa State? Number 6.
2-loss team, right?
They have 2 losses. Yeah.
You're not getting in, and you beat Oklahoma
champion
over Oklahoma. Like the Big 12 wasn't that good this year.
Oklahoma's 7-2, number 10.
It's not that. I mean, that's not that good.
I'm just saying.
I think Ohio State, realistically, is like should be the 4th out of 4 because they really haven't improved a lot. But if Notre Dame beats Clemson, then you have the 2-loss team. Like Clemson is a 2-loss team, but Clemson is arguably the best team in college football, other than Alabama. Like just because of Trevor Lawrence alone. And so you're going to have them 2 losses. You're going to have Texas A&M, a non-conference champion, 1-loss team. If Florida could somehow overcome a 17.5-point underdog and beat Alabama, you have Alabama is a 1-loss team. You have Florida that is now a 2-loss team. Are they 3-loss now?
No, or 2.
No, 2-loss SEC champion. I mean, that is the ultimate chaos scenario.
If we lose, it wouldn't matter.
Yeah, I think that what I want to see is Clemson beat Notre Dame, like just blow them out.
They will.
But Notre Dame's gonna get in, right?
I do hope Notre Dame gets blown out strictly so Chris has a bad day that day.
Yeah, and yeah. Yes.
I hope that he has a terrible day.
Oh, here we go.
Chris, you hear that? Thank you.
Okay, as a voter, I can see if Notre Dame loses to Clemson badly. As a voter, I'd be like, oh, well, their only time they beat Clemson, they didn't have Trevor, and now Trevor comes back. Look what happens to them. They're not legit. Like, then I could see them leaving out Notre Dame.
Yeah, but then they'll give them like a play-again game. The amount of money that Notre Dame has,
that's what I want to see. I want to see Clemson. If Clemson and Notre Dame is a close game, I want to see them play another time in neutral ground. Like I want to see Bama, Ohio State, Clemson Notre Dame again, like round 3 in the year.
Right. So those are all the scenarios. Smurs, end of the year, after what you think is going to happen, not what you want to happen. We all want chaos other than Brannigan. Who are the 4 teams?
We would be chaos if we won.
Right, yeah, so I can cheer for you.
Chaos.
Smurs, who are the 4 teams, 1 to 4? And then pick a champion out of it.
I would say Bama, Clemson, Ohio State. My 4th is up in the air. I'm really biased because I hate Notre Dame. I probably would either go Texas A&M or Florida. just because I don't think Ohio State really Notre Dame really proved anything this year. But I'm just because they're undefeated, I'm going to go them at the 4 spot. I think I just think they're going to get blown out. I think the 10.5-point favorites that Clemson came out was too little because I don't think Notre Dame's defense is going to know how good Trevor Lawrence is until they're down 21-0 in the first quarter.
Brannigan?
So I think it's going to – then I think it's going to be Ohio State, Clemson, and Clemson wins the championship.
Okay.
I think Bama, Clemson. I think one has to lose, so I think Notre Dame will be the 4, and then Ohio State 3, maybe. I don't know. Those are my 4, though, no matter how they're ranked. And I think Bama will be the champion, and they won't win a game by less than 20.
Yeah, I would agree.
I think every game in the playoff that Bama plays will be a blowout, even if they play Clemson. I think that was the best team that we've seen from them in a while, even when they had Tua.
Yeah. You think so?
Yeah, they're insane this year.
I haven't really watched a single Bama game.
They have 2 first-round wide receivers. Mac Jones is a Heisman finalist. Like Alabama, they showed a graphic. Alabama has 3 of the 5 Heisman finalists this year.
This is a great offense they have, and it doesn't matter who plays quarterback for them because they have Najee Harris, who could play himself into the first round. I don't know if he'll go first round, but he could be early second. They have 2 first-round receivers, probably the best O-line in the country, arguably.
Yeah. I would agree.
Even because when they had Tua, a lot of the times they would take the foot off the gas in the second half. They'd rest a lot of guys, but this year they have just been absolutely annihilating people. Like, don't even show up against Bama because it doesn't matter. Yeah,
I would agree.
It's funny I say that because I have a bet that I like to talk about later. That's going to contradict me.
You're in a bet Florida plus 17.
Yep, I took the plus. But that'll be for later.
Maybe. What do you got here?
I would go Alabama's going to be 1 after throttling Florida.
Okay, wait. Pause. What would be a throttling to you? Over 20?
21 points. 3 touchdowns is a throttle.
Yeah, I think it's more than that.
I've seen a lot of throttlings in conference championships watching the Badgers over the years, and I know a throttling when I see one.
Okay, no, I was
just looking to see 56-0. We don't want to talk about it.
That's a bad score. But so I'd go Bama at 1. I'd put Clemson 2, Ohio State 3, Notre Dame 4, because I'd assume they're going to split in the ACC, and then I would take Bama to win it all. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to be like fun to watch, but like Alabama seems head and shoulders way better than everybody this year. And like Clemson's defense seems, on another level, but not
top.
They're not. Yeah, they're not like.
They're not going to shut out the best offense in the country.
And Ohio State has Fields, but like Alabama's team looks like the LSU team last year, where they'll have like 12 guys drafted of their starting 22. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, not in the first round, but like in the first round, they'll probably have like 4 or 5 guys.
I'd say probably more than that. They probably have like a lineman or 2 and like a defensive guy. I'd probably say like 8. I'd probably say 8 guys.
8 in the first?
Dude, if you their offense.
They'll have 2 receivers. They'll have probably an O lineman, probably a D lineman.
D lineman. Probably have someone in the secondary.
DB, probably
2 in the secondary. They always have 2 secondary. You probably get another offensive lineman.
It's insane. Yeah,
Najee Harris, maybe.
Okay. It'll range from 5 to 8, maybe, depending on what else is out there.
All right, you guys want to talk about Giannis now?
Yeah, big news.
Last week? Did anybody say he's not going to sign?
I called it.
Terrible choice.
I mean, I wanted him to sign very badly, but I just didn't think in my heart he would because it was taking him so long. But after like what I've been reading and watching, like Giannis is basically like, I'm going to be the next Dirk and Duncan. Like I'm saying Milwaukee my whole career, as long as they pay me.
Yeah, that's what the Supermax is designed for. I mean, it worked out well.
Yeah, I know I talked a lot of Giannis to Miami stuff, and I even like sending the screenshots of Giannis in a Heat jersey. Mm-hmm. But realistically, I even said it last week, I realistically could not see him actually leaving, even though I like to joke about it.
He loves Milwaukee. He's known Milwaukee's been his he's bred.
Exactly, yeah.
Milwaukee. It's the only thing he's known besides Greece.
It was like in his post, he said, "This is my home. Like, why would I leave for what? For what?"
Good for him, though. I mean, good for him. I mean, if he loves Milwaukee, he's gonna stay. People in Milwaukee love him. I mean, it's really good for the city.
It also would have been bad for the East if the Bucks were out. Like if Giannis leaves and the Bucks die, it's like, well, you get a little less parity than you would if the Bucks keep the 1 seed and then.
Yeah, it's always fun to see us lose.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying, like, if he would have went to the West, like, come on.
Yeah,
I would have been really upset if he went to Golden State or something like that. Like, Giannis says he wants to win a championship. I don't see Giannis like joining Steph or like something like that. I could see him bringing someone onto the Bucks. I don't see him going and joining. Like,
I'd love to hear that pitch. Hey, man, I know California is great. I know Beverly Hills is really sick and all, but have you ever gone to Brothers?
You're going to AJ Bombers
in Milwaukee,
and then going to Brothers on a Saturday night. It is insane.
He'll have a little satchel of cheese curds carrying around with him. Be like, hey, try this.
Have you ever had this before? I know what you're thinking. Sunshine is fantastic, but 8 months of terrible weather with 3 months of having the sun set before 4 p.m. I don't know how you turn that down.
Yeah. Wisconsin fucking sucks, dude.
What's the temperature right now?
It's actually not that bad out. It's above 0. It doesn't get cold here until like late January, February.
It's above 0, not that bad.
It's probably okay. It was probably in like the 20s. Like it doesn't get like cold. December is
28.
Yeah, there you go. A classic Wisconsin thing to do is to complain and be like, I can't believe it's not snowing the week before Christmas, even though we'll get one snowfall and it'll melt. And then everybody goes, I hope we have snow for Christmas because that's the only time snow is ever cool. And then we get like a light snow the week of Christmas and it's kind of melty. And then we're like, okay, this is all like, I guess we're having a light winter, and it's never like that. And then January and February come and just fucking punch you in the face with snow. But the cool thing is then the snow freezes.
Yes.
And then it gets frigid out. And then
the dry, windy cold is.
Yep, that's the best.
That's game over.
And then March comes around and people are like, March should be spring because in everywhere else in the United States that is fun to live, people are starting to do fun things again. But no, it is still terrible weather. It is still horribly cold. And then everybody is shocked every single year. They're like, I can't believe it's not 60 degrees, even though we don't see 60 until like mid-May. It happens every year, and I'm excited for it. It's the same thing as when people say, I like Wisconsin for the seasons, and that's just the worst way to say it gets cold here.
Yeah, I like Wisconsin. When people say like I like the North, they like Wisconsin for the seasons. It's like you see summer, like a legit summer for 2 months.
Yep.
Probably.
And then you're not even ready for it. You get like sunburnt and you sweat all the time, and you're not used to it.
It is a nice summer though.
No.
I haven't
experienced 2 months. It's 2 months, and it's like 85 degrees. Like it's not. It's maybe a couple days get to like 95.
There's a week in August it'll get bad, but you're not ready for it. So so you don't even go outside. Because it's unbearable.
Yeah, and then September hits and it's 50. It legit gets like 40 degrees at night. And you're like, why the fuck? Like, what is going on? And then you get like 3 weeks of fall where it's like, okay, 60, 70 degrees out. And then all of a sudden it's like 50 and below.
Then you hate your life again. It's fun.
From October, Halloween to like March.
The low in Florida today was 36, so it's getting pretty frigid here as well.
The seasonal depression. The seasonal depression in Wisconsin has to be through the roof. Yeah. Has to be.
Insane.
Oh, I'd imagine, especially with COVID now, dude.
Oh, yeah.
With all the lockdowns and just sitting home all day.
Wisconsin gets a solid week to 2 weeks of September where it's still like really hot. But if you go to a school in Wisconsin, like sweating in class is like looked at really weird. I'm sure in like down south it's like not weird, but if you're like you don't want to be a sweater in class.
Yeah. No, that's everywhere. I've been a sweater, and like I went really hard at flag football one day in high school, and
you don't want to do that.
Then I went to math. It wasn't good. That was the last time I ever did it in my life.
Right. Yeah, you have to do it once, and then you're like, I don't like this.
Wow, this is really bad.
But you always they don't turn on the AC because they just assume it's going to start getting colder. But so like they don't pump any AC when you first get there. So the classrooms are just unbearably hot. And so everybody just sits there and sweats. And it's the most uncomfortable thing in the world.
That's why I never went to class.
Wisconsin is a terrible state. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise.
Yeah. And their sports teams it's the same thing. Same thing. Fine. No, they're not. Wisconsin sports is the most heartbreaking thing in the world.
There's worse states. You could be a North or South Dakota or like Kansas. Can't be cool. Iowa sucks. I've driven through Nebraska. That blows. So there are worse states.
Kansas was good in college basketball every year, like nationally ranked top 5 every year.
Mississippi is shitty.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mississippi's one.
Bad state.
Florida for like last 30 years.
Most of Florida.
Yeah. Besides Tallahassee, the good football team.
I know you just didn't say that with full confidence. Dude, did you see they got the transfer quarterback from UCF?
Yeah, I did.
The competitor, he's gonna be good. They might have a chance at 4 to 5 wins next year. Things are looking up.
Exactly, 4 to 5 wins. I don't know how did they drop off? Like Jameis went and they were so good, and then Jimbo left. They're like
Jimbo left. Yeah, also, there's a lot of shady stuff going on around in
2-10.
Just start paying guys again.
Yes. Why? Why not?
You stop?
When they're making
some kids you can't pay to go play there.
I get paid.
Dude, FSU is going to say fuck it, and they're just going to become a basketball school, I bet. They might as well. Football has basically got the death penalty without getting one, and their basketball is pretty good. So
that's why Jimbo left.
Throw all the money over there. That's where you need to put
Jimbo's so
smart.
Might as well. Jimbo's like, you know what? We're probably going to get some allegations.
They were probably a Final Four team last year if it didn't get canceled. They were hot at the end, and they had 2 first rounders.
So was Wisconsin. So
guy top 5.
One of them was a 6-man. Somehow he went like number 4 overall, but I guess I'm not an NBA scout, so
yeah.
If he's good, then he's good.
Want to get into the picks? I'm ready to go 5-0 this week. So wait, Brandon, what'd you go last week?
Arkansas did not hit. I bet them plus 32 on Bama, and that wasn't even close. They scored 3 points.
I feel good about that one. I told you that was a dumb pick.
Yeah, well, Jesus Christ, 3 points, really?
How much did Bama score? Oh no, yeah, I bet Bama minus 30.
52 to 3.
A lot of points.
Easy money. I was hot this weekend, except for my picks in the podcast. So that's how.
Yeah, I know you didn't hit Florida plus 23. I told you they're not going to cover that.
Yeah, I wanted to have faith in you. I bet it for you. I picked it for you, and then it just didn't work out. All right, well, KB, you went 1-4.
I hit the Wisconsin. I hit the Wisconsin under.
Yep.
I knew that. I took it again this week because.
What NFL games did you pick?
Oh, I lost the Raiders Colts. I picked Raiders. They got annihilated.
What other game?
I think those are the only 2 I didn't hit. I think the other 3 I got right because Coastal won, BYU won, right?
BYU did not cover. You picked.
No, I picked money line. I picked them to win. Yeah,
that doesn't count. That's an asterisk. That's 2-2. You're 2-2. Can't pick them to win when they're minus 17-point favorites. You dumb bastard.
What are your
picks in college?
KB, did Chelsea game?
Yeah, it was a terrible pick. But the good thing.
Didn't you pick plus 2?
I went 1-4, which is way better than going 2-3 or 3-2. Because if you go 2 or 3 or 3-2 betting, you're just like right in the middle, and it's a terrible time. You have no idea what you're doing. You win some, you lose some. The fact that I went 1-4 just means I'm hot, just the wrong way.
Yeah.
So I picked all my games of what I wanted to do, and then I'm just going to bet the complete opposite. So, like, I was going through it, really like New England plus 2, taking the Dolphins.
Yep.
That's right. They're going to win anyway, so it's a good bet.
Right. So I had a terrible week, but that in some ways, I think it was the best week.
It's a learning curve.
You learn a lot about yourself. Yeah,
they showed you what not to do.
Yep. The good thing is watching that Saints-Eagles game, I actually wanted to lose. So it's really like I won.
Oh yeah, you took Saints to beat the shit out of the Eagles because the Packers did. How'd that go?
Yeah, obviously. Actually, it was great because by that point I had lost enough bets where I was like, I can tell I'm hot. Just maybe not my picks. Maybe I'm
losing hot.
I'm on fire for losing. So I took a look. I said, what are the best 5 games that I'm feeling the best about? Wrote them down. I'm going to take the opposite. So I'll run through those later. But that's my strategy this week, and I'm feeling really good about it. I have a good feeling. I've been doing terrible, but now we're back in the right feeling.
All right, Brandon. You want me to start us off? All right.
Yeah.
I have a feeling we might have a few of the same picks this week.
I don't know how this game is set at 20.5 because one team is just head over heels better than the other team. Ohio State minus 20.5 against Northwestern. Like Northwestern beat Wisconsin 14-7 on grass. Now you're playing Ohio State, which is a team of absolute freak athletes in Indy on turf.
I don't get what the difference is there. Isn't everybody playing on the same field?
But Northwestern's home field is grass. Like they played most of their games on grass this year, and you're slower on grass.
So
Northwestern's a bigger. Northwestern's more of the physical team. So when you slow people up and there's more room for error, as in when the field's wet.
That extra quarter-inch blade of grass is gonna stop a first-round draft pick from not just blowing by some 3-star at Northwestern. That's what you're telling me.
I actually understand what you were saying, Smurs. I kind of am with you, but I still think Ohio State's going to slaughter them.
That's what I'm saying. Ohio State minus 20.5 is the easiest pick of all time.
I got what you were saying,
agree.
but I don't think it'll matter as much as
I think
what you're making.
I'm just gonna throw all the money that I owe Trevor for red this month. I'm gonna throw it in this game, and if it hits, free rent for next month.
I would agree. It's a good way to do it.
Next up, Texas A&M against Tennessee. Texas A&M's got to prove something to the committee if they even want to have a chance to get in. Minus 14. I think they'd be.
Said that about Florida last week.
Yeah, and Florida. There's a difference between Texas A&M and Florida. Texas A&M's good, and Florida was just like overhyped.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
I would agree.
Texas A&M's not that good.
Yeah, they beat Florida
by 3.
Yeah.
We scored 38. They scored 41.
Look at our defense again.
That's how games work.
I know. Both of our losses, by the way, this year combined 6 points.
Yeah, and one was against Texas A&M, was number 5, and one's against an unranked LSU. So.
Yeah, so we're.
What
it evens out. It evens
Clemson
out.
minus 10.5. I would have taken them minus 14 or minus 16.5. I think Clemson beats them by 3 or 4 touchdowns.
I like that.
And
Trevor Lawrence is just an Adonis of a quarterback, so I'll get behind anything. They could be favored by 50 points. I'd bet on them.
The flow.
Yeah, it's all looks. I bet on quarterbacks based on how good looking they are, and it generally pays off.
Do you bet on Tom Brady all the time?
Not this year, but he is looking fantastic. Tom Brady's an amazing looking person. He's like, is he 40? He's over 40, right?
He kisses his kids on the lips.
43.
Yeah, okay.
He's
First of all,
40.
That's hot. Let's not. Come on. Little guy on guy action is always cool.
Yeah, it's always.
Yeah, it's always cool. I'll fill that in for you. Tom Brady's an amazing looking person. He looks like he is mid-30s and a model, and he just happens to play quarterback in the NFL.
Model. Tom
That's
Brady
what he looks like.
Have
you seen how chiseled his jawline is? He has the perfect 5 o'clock shadow. The guy eats, and I would love to see his body. I bet it is just the pick. I would love to draw I don't know what blood doping is, but if it's when you take blood out of somebody else and inject it into your own body in hopes to get their blood to make you healthy, I would do that with Tom Brady every single day. I bet I'd live to 120.
I have to say hundreds of millions of dollars does help you look younger when you're old.
Yeah.
You think he's getting like nose jobs, like plastic surgery? The guy plays a contact sport.
No, he's not. He's not getting surgery, but you can afford any training, diet, anything you need.
Yeah, vegetables are really expensive. I get it, but
all right. Bills minus 6 against the Broncos. Drew Lock overrated. Bills are good. Josh Allen is going to put his dong on the Broncos at MetLife. Or is it no? Is that still Sports Authority Stadium or what is it? I have no idea what the thing is in Denver, but I think Buffalo is going to be
the Denver one. Yeah, I think it's Sports Authority.
Yeah, Sports Authority literally went broke in most cities, sponsoring Denver.
Yeah, well,
Sports Authority got bought by Dick's.
Cool choice. And then last one, this one burned me this week. I know the Browns really fucked over a lot of people this weekend, but I'm taking the Browns minus 4.5. I had Browns money line on Monday night. Anyone else bet the Browns on Monday night? Last Monday?
No.
I would never bet the Browns again.
Do you know about it? You guys hear about it?
3, yeah, the safety.
Yeah. So KB, how it went was they played Lamar. So the poop game. Lamar went to the bathroom.
Yeah, that was I liked those. That was sweet.
Lamar legit went to the bathroom. He's having cramps.
Paul Pierce did. I saw all of the pictures of them putting Lamar Jackson's face on Paul Pierce's body in the wheelchair. That was great.
But Tucker kicked like a 56-yard field goal to put him up by 3. Browns were minus or plus 3.5 a game. And they do like the flea flicker play, throwing it around, and Jarvis catches it 3 yards deep in the end zone and just runs off the back of the end zone for a safety. Baltimore covers.
Really? That's hilarious.
Oh, hey! I told you the Dolphins were gonna hang with the Chiefs. How'd that bet go for you, Kyle?
It contributed to me being hot, so it went really well. It contributed to my winning streak that I lost.
Sorry to go on a tangent here, but I was so like. I hate being happy about a loss, but I was happy with that loss. That was the best team in the league.
In order to be a winner, you have to start being a loser.
The Dolphins are in the stage of getting moral victories. Like we're almost there. Like we're not really.
You guys can make the playoffs.
Yeah, we can make a wild card. We probably
lose
get the
first
Steelers.
round.
I think we get the Steelers first round as is.
Yeah, you lose, but all right, Smurfs, is that it? Or do you got
one
more?
5. That's 5-0. You take those to the bank, whatever you want to do with them. Fucking wrap them up in your bow tie, stick them up your ass.
What was your record last week?
2-3.
Oh, so you're just in hell. You're in the worst territory of gambling.
I've gone 1-4 once on this podcast. I've gone 4-1. I've never gone 5-0, but I have a really good feeling about this week.
You have a good feeling about it. Okay, Brannigan.
Okay, well, you guys aren't going to be happy, but I took Oregon money line in their championship game. They're against USC, and I think Oregon can win that. I took LSU money line. They play Ole Miss. I think LSU coming off Florida, they're better than, I guess, their record. Apparently, I don't know. I took Notre Dame plus 10.5 at Clemson. I think it'll be another close one.
Wrong.
Notre Dame has a top 3 defense, I think.
At
least on paper.
You're wrong. I just want a statement. No question. You're wrong. You're wrong.
Are you betting the LSU game so that way you can feel even worse when they lose? Are you betting them because they beat Florida and you're saying, well, they must be good because there's no way that Florida just played a bad game. There's no way that Florida actually screwed it up by throwing a shoe 15 yards.
No,
20, correction, 20.
So you're saying LSU is a good team, so I'm going to bet on them because then if they lose, I can be mad and say it was a fluke. This shouldn't have happened, and then have somewhere to stand. So that way you not only had Florida lose, but you also had. So are you doubling down on your misery if by betting on LSU?
No,
That's what it sounds like.
I think that the freshman quarterback that they played against us, it was just like his first start, and I think he can actually be pretty good. I think he'll be their starter next year as well.
Okay, we'll see.
I also don't think that Ole Miss is very good either. So I think all I did was take
I was just curious. That's what I would do. I would definitely double down. Like when Ohio State would beat Wisconsin and then they'd go and then lose in the college football playoff, I'd always bet on Ohio State and be like, well, they must be really good because the Badgers are really good. And then they would lose, and I'd say, I don't even know what to do now.
You might be right. That might have interested me. I was like, LSU,
Oh,
they must be good because there's no way Florida's not that good.
Yeah, exactly.
I like
Florida State's better. You're lucky you guys have played Florida State this year.
All right. First of all, I never said Florida was never elite this year. They're exactly what I said they was a great offense and just a suspect defense. And sure enough, the suspect defense cost it for us.
Jordan Unis.
You're just saying things.
All right, sorry, I didn't want to interrupt. Keep going, Brannigan, on your picks.
Okay. I took Notre Dame plus 10.5. I think that'll be close again. I think.
So you guys are going directly against each other this week.
Well, because think about it, Clemson, even without Trevor, they still scored 43 points.
Yeah.
So it's not
but they also
they're going to add
South
Trevor and
Bend.
they're going to score 60 on Notre Dame. I don't think that's true. I think Notre Dame.
I
even if Notre Dame doesn't win, which I don't think they will, I think they can cover 10.5. They're not going to lose by 2 touchdowns.
I don't think Notre Dame's offense is that good, but Notre Dame was back and forth, adrenaline the whole game in South Bend with fans. You're now going up. I don't even know where they play this game, but you're playing. Is it where the Steelers? Was it Heinz Field?
No clue. You guys should bet on it like separately. So since you're going directly against each other, you should really up the stakes and bet each other specifically. I don't know what you could bet, but you should figure it out and bet something.
Well, I just think it'll be another close game. I think it's going to come down to the wire. Both teams know that win and you're in, lose and who knows. So I also, my next bet is the Wisconsin under once again. Great in a rivalry game.
Yep.
They gave them 47 again. I was like, there's no way. Both teams need 20, not a chance. I took the Iowa State. I bet on Iowa State this week against Oklahoma. Money line. I just think Oklahoma's a fraud. I don't think Spencer Rattler is as good as everybody thinks.
Yeah, but Jordan uniforms. Did you factor that in?
For Oklahoma, do they?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
No, I didn't factor that.
Well, that's a few points.
Actually, believe it or not, I didn't put money on this one. So if it doesn't hit, I'll be okay. I put money on the other 4 or 3 or something like that.
Did you bet all college football?
Oh shit! Did I pick too many teams? Well, I picked 6 again, I guess. My consolation game is UF plus 18. I took us in a close one, and I didn't put money on it. Of course. I just would like to see it. This is my first time betting on Florida since we lost A&M. So.
Yeah, I bet that game too early.
Okay.
So that's my bets. We'll see.
All right, let's hear his 1-4 slate.
All right. Well, my bets are going to be. So I took I'm going to take the Dolphins -2. So I like New England a lot. I'm just going to give the reasons of why I'm going to pick the game. And then I'll just give you I'm just going to take the opposite because that's how well I'm doing. I put a future on the Lakers winning a championship because why wouldn't you? And after I did that, a nice payout, have not had a winning week since. So it's been a while. So we're going to change the luck. We're going to switch it over. So New England, Bill Belichick always kills it against rookie quarterbacks. And New England's not that bad. So the Dolphins are probably going to win and just pull something out of their ass, which I guess doesn't make sense.
Smart.
I'm going to take Seattle -5.5 because I think Washington is really good. I think they're a lot better. They're going to play for a playoff, which means that Russell Wilson's going to throw for 500 yards, which is exciting. So Seattle -5.5, Oregon +3.5 because USC is sick and they're going to score 50 points, which I mean, Oregon's got a good coach, but I'm never going to take a bet against USC because they're super cool and I like cheering for them. And they have 5-star recruits. And obviously you can't beat 5-star recruits. Proven. So I'm going to take Oregon.
Georgia.
Yeah, they're really good. Like you lose to the other team with 5-star recruits. And then I'm going to take Alabama -18.5 because I think Florida should be able to cover a 18.5 point spread, which is ridiculous. They have a great offense, Jordan uniforms. They should be able to cover it, which means Alabama's going to kick the shit out of them. No doubt. And then I'm going to take Notre Dame +10.5 because I want to get in on the action too, because I think Clemson's going to kill them. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to have such a good game. People are going to make the outlandish take and say, well, is Trevor Lawrence in the Heisman discussion? He's going to throw for 600 yards. And so I'm going to take Notre Dame +10.5.
Smart.
Put him on the books. I'm changing the luck. I'm going to kill it. And if for some reason I do go 4 or 1-4 again, that just means I'm actually hot. So you just switch it back up.
Yeah. So if you go 1-4, everything you said was right. You just decided to choose
I cannot
the
be wrong. That's generally how I live my life.
Yeah.
I think it works out really well.
Do you really think that Florida should cover Bama?
Yeah, I do because I don't think there's enough possessions to lose by that much. Like Florida's got a good enough offense where they should score 40 points. And I don't think I don't think Alabama's going to score like 70 points on them. There's just not enough possessions in the game. And I think Florida's I think Florida's good enough. And if it comes down to a field goal, then congrats Vegas, you got me again. You know?
Yeah.
I think they should cover.
I would like to think so, but Damn.
I think they're good,
I'm
but
so in the middle.
Yeah, I
So
have
you
to
went
take
Dolphins
Alabama.
-3.
I went Dolphins -2.
That's 2.
Seahawks -5.5. Oregon +3.5, and then Alabama -18.5, and then Clemson or Notre Dame +10.5.
That's kind of like a friendly wager here because I'm going against you two. The heavyweight, the
that's
longest.
Why I said this before we started. I was like, I think a lot of us are gonna have the same bets,
Yeah.
or like same game at least.
Well, there's only like a few good games.
It was one game. It was Clemson Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Also, a lot of my picks this week, I chose underdogs for you, Smurfs, because you told me I bet too many favorites last week. So
I'm not saying you bet favorites.
You just can't bet money line favorites. You can't pick a team that's -400 to win.
Unless you're doing a parlay, it's like a 12 team. Then yes,
it was parlay. It was parlay 16. It just rounded off the top. I needed one more team, so I picked BYU. Big deal.
All right, what should we wager then?
I don't know.
You have no idea either. Let's think about it, and then we'll just talk.
Think about it. We'll tweet about it, and then
Yeah, sitting here for 10 minutes is going to be terrible, and then just throw out terrible suggestions.
I also haven't eaten yet, so I want to go eat. Kansas beat Texas A&M. Texas Tech in basketball today. Did you guys see that Marcus Mariota's playing for Oakland right now? He's
I like Oakland. Oakland's cool. Cool uniforms.
I do. Oakland is not as good, not as high as the Packers on my list, but they're also one of my closet teams.
I hope the Chargers. I'd like to see the Chargers win. I'm a big Justin Herbert person.
Oh yeah. All right. Well,
Chargers uniforms.
Well, it's fun. We'll probably see you guys in 2 weeks, as next week is Christmas.
Watch The Bachelorette. Everybody watch The Bachelorette. It's an amazing show. I'm new on it, but I'd like to say I'm a fan. Yusuf, I'm sorry for not betting any soccer, but Chelsea's really been sucking. Even I know that.
They lost again Tuesday.
I know. I watched that. Even I know that. I know nothing about soccer.
United won today.
But you bet it.
That's the best way to get that. If you don't like soccer, the best way to get into soccer, if you don't like it, is to gamble on it, because you watch it and you go,
soccer.
Well, you watch it and you're like, soccer's terrible because they don't score any goals. But if you gamble on it, all of the almost goals are now like fun. I get soccer. I didn't get it before. I get it now.
Yeah.
Like you just have to gamble on it a few times and then you kind of get it.
So I bet Man U today -1.5 and money line. Like bet them both. And they got scored on the 4th minute because the goalkeeper error. They score in like the 35th, the 42nd, and then like the 70th. I was like, all right, I'm sitting good, pretty good. And then fucking the other team, whoever they fucking played, worst team in the league, scores a goal in the 86th. And then the goalkeeper for Man U made a crazy save in like the 80th or the 90th. And I was like, holy shit. I almost just lost all that money. And that's soccer, though. That's soccer. That's
the best part
almost a goal.
That's soccer.
That's awesome.
The way she goes.
Next week, we're going to have Casey on. So that'll be fun. We can talk about how Joe Burrow cannot stay healthy, which means he's a terrible quarterback. So we can talk about that.
LaMelo Ball's already better than Lonzo Ball will ever be.
Well, he's taller, so maybe. So we'll talk about that, and then we'll watch The Bachelorette, actually, and we'll talk about it. We'll talk with Casey. We'll talk about LaMelo, Lonzo, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, because Justin Herbert's obviously way better. And then we'll talk about the bets.
All right. We'll see you guys next week.
I also like to come next week with the most outlandish Colin Cowherd take I can find, because playoffs are coming up, so he's ready to spice it up.
He's gonna
say some.
Yeah, I like those. I think it's a good idea.
He said it's not good for the NBA that Giannis signed, by the way. Just letting you know. We'll talk about it next week because we're out.
Yeah, because he hates parody. All right. Well, yeah, I don't want to get into it, but
next week we'll do some Colin Cowherd tweets.
Nice talking to you.
All right.
Nice. All right.